I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning.
Elevation Nation Conversations. God Body Sean.
How are you?
All
Hi,
right, what's going on, everybody? I'm
How
good.
God Body
Good
Sean, the
evening, sir.
Elevation Nation
how are you?
Conversations.
How old are
We're
you?
checking in with Kevin Samuels on another video
35.
where he's talking
All right.
to
So what
a
are we
nurse
talking
that's
about? Are we
divorced
talking
with two
about
kids,
real high
and he
value
thinks she
men? Are we
overvalues
talking
herself,
about
and he's
order
gonna give her a little
66? Are
dose
we
of
talking about
reality.
stuff
Hit that
different
like, share,
people
subscribe
want? Or
button.
do you have a question?
I tap back in with my reaction to it.
I wanted
Peace.
to talk about like high value men. Well, not specifically, but like I'm a person who I feel like I'm high value, but
Okay.
I'm not interested specifically in a high value man. And I know you said that
Okay.
all women are. I want a man that just respects me and understands the type of life that I live.
Okay.
And I'm okay with somebody who's just for me. Like I really feel like God may have put a person in place for me, and I'm
You,
not gonna
let me.
decide that I'm
You
not
mind
gonna
if I
be
ask
with
you?
him.
Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes,
So, do you have any children?
yes,
How many?
two,
By the same father or different fathers?
same.
All right. Would you like to be married one day?
I would like to be married one day.
Okay. Would you like to have any additional children after you're married?
Um, if um, if asked by my husband, I would definitely have children for him.
Oh, cool. Do you care if your possible husband has children?
I don't.
Mm.
If I'm gonna have them, then I would have to equal the playing fields for him too.
Okay, so if you had kids, how many more would you have? One, two, what, three, four?
I would have 1,000 if that person that was for me wanted 1,000 more
Mm.
kids.
Okay, now let's be realistic. Now I'm trying to be real,
No, I would if
ma'am. You
he
can't have
asked
a
me if I
thousand. You
could
can't
have
have a
more, I
thousand
would have
kids,
more.
ma'am. Ma'am, I appreciate the but I'm trying to be.
Yeah,
How many kids?
however many he would want, I
Oh,
would
oh,
have those kids.
okay, okay. So let's say he wanted two kids. It's two. You're 35, right?
Yes,
So, after you're married, would you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant with your next child?
yes, I would like to continue to work. I like
I
working.
said, no, the question I asked, would you want to have to work? Not would you like, I said, would you want to have to?
I don't want to have to work.
Okay.
Um,
So, um, if you had two more children, so that'd be four total, if he had none. Um, what percentage of the overall family financial load would you, as a wife and a mother of four, want to have to be responsible for a lifetime?
I
Meaning
would
right, meaning right
want to.
now, meaning right now, as an unmarried woman, you have to be responsible for 100% of your family financial load. But
Hmm.
as a married woman, what percentage of the overall family financial load? That means the children, that means the mortgage, the cars, if the children want to go to college, the family trips, the vacations, the investments, what overall percentage do you want to have to be responsible for?
50. I feel like that's reasonable. 50%.
So 50% means if you stop working or lose your job or cease to earn, the family is at critical risk.
Right.
Okay, so that means if you stop, let's just say you got sick or
Hmm.
you broke up, that means if you, so you want half of the financial burden to be on you. So that means that's a lot. So that means you
Yes.
end up, are you sure?
I'm positive. I'm very
Oh,
conscious about money. I
okay,
actually,
okay, okay, ma'am. I just want to be clear. 50% is a
okay.
high burden. So that means you go out, every dollar that's spent, 50% is yours. If there's a kid's college and tuition, if the tuition is $15,000, you got to come up with 7,500. 50% is a high burden, but let's go with that.
Hmm.
What state do you live in?
Illinois. I'm from
Okay,
Chicago.
okay, Chicago. Um, what kind of annual income do you think you would need for a middle class lifestyle for a family of four? What kind of to have a decent home, have access to uh, good public schools, things like that. What do you think you need for annual income combined for
Um,
for two adults and four people for four children?
for two adults.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like 150 would be okay.
150,
Yes.
150,000. Are you a nurse?
Because I'm making, yes, I am. I've been making around that up until this year, and I have a really huge house in a
Okay,
really great neighborhood.
ma'am,
I
but I
drive
need you
a
to
luxury
listen.
car.
You said you've been making that
Yes.
around that. Okay, but we're talking
Hmm.
about doubling what you
Right.
have. So you'd be if you only had 150 total, that means you'd be
Hmm.
taking a half a step back. You need
Right.
more. So you want to rethink about that? Because if you already are living at
Well,
150 level, you need more for another adult because he has to make some money than the other kids.
right. So I'm considering that. Like, for example, last year I didn't work for 8 months, and I was able to cover
Okay,
my bills with my
okay, but
savings.
that's no, no, no,
I'm
ma'am.
very
See, no, no,
conscious.
no, 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 no. See, you ladies start to overcomplicate things. I just need the number. If you make 150, that means the man could come in, be your husband, and have to make no money. If you say all you need is
Well, I'm not
150,
asking to make any money. You asked what would
uh,
be a comfortable amount, and I
yes,
think
for a family
150
of
would
for
be.
six people, not three. You got that for three people.
Yes,
Okay, ma'am, stop trying to outthink the
yes.
question. Please stop trying to outthink the question.
Okay,
That's not going to get you anywhere. If it's
okay.
you and your two kids on 150, a man, a husband, and two more kids, how much more money are you gonna need?
Um, I feel like he, I, w- this is the thing. This is what I'm saying. I feel like for example, what I'm making now could even cover that. I'm not saying I want to cover all of
That's
that
not what I
clearly.
asked,
Um,
ma'am. That's not what I asked. And this is why I start
150.
to. Okay,
I
ma'am.
feel like an
This is
extra.
why. Okay, I don't, ma'am. If you're good with money, we don't have to talk about feeling. This is why it starts to run off the rails because you ladies become disingenuous. Stop this bullshit.
Okay.
You're saying that right now you feel like you could take on a husband and two kids and y'all can live at 150,000 and be comfortable. Is that what I'm hearing?
I feel that way.
Okay.
I know you
So,
want me to go up.
oh, God damn it. See, this is why this conversation gets off the rails because when women start to try to outthink the questions, you're trying to maneuver. So, are you living at your budget right now? Are you living at what you earn?
Um, well, I live a little lower than what I
No,
earn. I live
okay.
lower.
Okay, but it's in the ballpark of what you earn. In the ballpark.
Somewhat.
Not
Yeah,
somewhat.
somewhat.
Okay, then, ma'am, right there, then you couldn't. Because a man coming in and two additional children, if you're living at your income, you'd have to decrease your standard of living. Simple math. Simple math. Ma'am, if you're living at $100,000 income, if a man comes in and you have two children, that doubles the amount of people. You will have to decrease your standard of living or increase your income annually. Everybody in the
Hmm.
chat room understands what I'm saying. So this we shouldn't have got off task here. You're trying
Okay.
to outthink the question. Do you want a man to be earning roughly what you make,
Um,
or do you want to
they
be the
don't
bread,
have
or do you
to.
want to be the breadwinner?
I don't mind being the. I genuinely don't mind being the
All right, but
breadwinner.
let's cut the
Um.
shit. If you want to be
Oh
responsible for 50,
gosh.
let's cut the shit. If you want to be responsible for 50% of the family financial load, that means a man has to make what you're making or more to cover his 50%. Is that simple enough? That should be simple
Okay.
enough, right? right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So $150,000 a year. What percentage of men make $150,000 a year or more?
I think you said something like 20%.
Less than 10%. Class, this woman said, I don't necessarily want a high value man. And she just by the numbers, she wants a man who's making high value money. So do you want to
But
go
I
ahead?
don't.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Stop. Be quiet. Please stop. I did all that for a reason because I need to show that you ladies think I don't really want a man that's doing that much, and you still want a man earning the top 10%. That's high value money. Do you at least acknowledge that? Yes or no?
Kevin, I'm gonna have to say yes because I'm afraid to say no.
It's not afraid to say no, ma'am, because you've already, there's no afraid to say no, ma'am. I'm just using what you said. There's no afraid to say anything, ma'am. I asked you, you want to get married? Yes. How much, what percentage, if you want to have additional kids, 1,000 children. This is why this shit matters because y'all talk out of one side of your mouth and live out the other side of your neck. And you never put two and two together. And you say, I'm not looking for a high value man, but then you looking for a man who's making high value money, living like an average good old Joe. But that ain't what you want either. I've been doing this for too long, man. So the questions I ask aren't to trip you up. It's to crystallize that you, somebody who says is good with money, they ain't even thought about what it really means. You are not going to decrease your standard of living when you're married. You're not going to marry a man and get pregnant at 35 and have 2 children and decrease the standard of living that you and your 2 children currently have and live at 150,000. Anybody in the chat room with any damn sense knows you want a man to be earning at least what you're earning because you want to be responsible for 50%. That means a man has to be responsible for 50%. So he has to make at least what you're making. By math, 2 plus 2 is 4. If you want to be responsible for 50% of 4, what is 50% of 4? 2. If you want to be responsible for 50% of 3, what is 50% of 3? 1.5. You got 1.5. So you want a man at 1.5. That is the top 10% of men. The top 10% of men are not looking for 35-year-old baby mamas or 2 kids. They're not.
So in retrospect, you're saying that I don't need to be looking for a high value man.
You're not calling him high value, but you still want him to be earning what you're earning. Because you don't want to take a step back in your standard of living.
You're calculating this as if my bills are 150,000.
I don't. No. I'm calculating. No bullshit. Don't try to play those games with me. I'm too good at this. I'm calculating what you said. I don't need to know your bills. I need to know that you want to be responsible for 50% of the overall family financial load. So that means he has to be responsible for the other 50%. And you're already living at one level. Ain't nobody in here stupid. Women don't take a step back to get married. Get married to take steps back. They get married to take steps forward or at least maintain. You're not trying to be the breadwinner for a man. Nobody's crazy, man. So what you need to understand is maybe you don't call it high value because you associate it with being rich and famous and jewels and this, but it's still the same money. The bank doesn't care. The mortgage doesn't care. Your lifestyle is set for a single woman with 2 children earning what you make. You're not living at a $40,000 a year salary. You're living at what you can afford, like most people. This is why you grown ass women become disingenuous because you don't even sit down and think about what it means. We haven't even gotten to what the man wants, but I'm just fixing on the fact that so many women like yourself come in and say, I don't necessarily need a man who's high value. And then you proceed to describe a man who's earning high value. It happens every day. Every day it happens.
So, Mr. Samuels, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because I mean, the thing is, so you're saying that basically I don't qualify to date somebody that would, but on paper, be my standard. So what do I qualify for?
Well, let's start here.
Because I'm a
Let's start here.
35-year-old baby mama.
Let's start here. Let's start here. That's a
Okay.
broadly, that's a general statement. I said that high value men are not looking for 35-year-old baby mamas of two. In general, they are not. But let's start. How tall are you?
I'm 5'3",
Dress size?
size 8,
How much did you weigh the last time you weighed yourself?
159. Oh my God.
One
I didn't
what?
want to say that.
159?
159. I work out every day. I have a really great body. I
Okay.
take care of myself.
Okay. Hey, ma'am. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
What would you on the fresh face out of the shower, your natural hair, no makeup, just your face? What would you give yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? You can't use 7.
I would say a 9. I would
A,
give myself a 9.
a 9. So at 35 years old, you would give yourself a 9. Fresh face out of the shower. So you'd put yourself in
Yeah.
the excuse me. You put yourself in the pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous category. So Beyonce is
Yes.
an 8. Excuse me. Beyonce is an 8. Kelly Rowland is a 9. Rihanna is a 10. Where in your life have you had 9 outcomes? Meaning, let me back up. Your child's father. You guys weren't married, right?
We were.
You were. Okay. Did he go to college?
He did.
What did he do for a living? You don't have to be 100% specific, but what did he
He's
do?
a he's a nurse.
Okay. So, does he earn more than you?
He does now.
Okay.
He has a
Um,
doctorate.
so a 9 in Chicago. I'll give you somebody like Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray, she's an 8. Back in her day, Lisa Ray back in her day was an 8.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, and if you're Chicago, you know the kind of women that get 9s, men who are 9s, women who are
Hmm.
9s. All right. But your child's father, your ex-husband was a nurse.
Hmm.
You don't get higher than your baby daddy, your child's father,
Okay.
because no disrespect, man, but you're not a 9. You're a 6. You're cute,
Okay.
but you're not a 9. That's not an insult. You're cute, but 9s are women who are pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous. These are the kind of women that people walk down the street and they're like, "Ooh, have you ever modeled before?" Or,
I
"Hey, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead." You muted yourself.
Can
Go
you
ahead.
hear me?
I can now. Go ahead.
I said I get that. I've actually modeled before. I've done
Okay.
sports modeling.
Okay, ma'am. Model. I don't. Okay. I don't mean print model. I mean like. Okay, it's fine. 5'3". You're not really model height. Your print work, sure.
Right.
I get. So my point is, I'm not saying you're not an attractive woman, but you're not a 9, especially at 35 with 2 kids. I mean, I love to understand what system you ladies are using. If you're a 9, 35 with 2 children, who's a 10? Ma'am, you muted yourself.
You're asking me what is my opinion about my physical appearance, and I'm
Okay,
giving
ma'am,
you
but your physical appearance needs to be okay, unmute yourself. You muted yourself. You keep muting yourself. I don't do that. I'm not doing this. Hello?
Oh, there it is. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, ma'am, your opinion, like a grown adult, needs to be rooted in reality, not fantasy. So you can't say and look me straight in the face and say, my opinion of myself is I'm a 9, then who is a 10 on your scale?
And I would say Beyonce's a 10. You
Okay.
said she's an 8.
And that's why I said, and you're beneath her. She's an 8. She's an 8. You would put her at a 10, but Beyonce is an 8. Ma'am, you're not that, ma'am, my point of the matter is, so let me get to the ultimate point. One of the big problems is you ladies overvalue yourselves. You overrank yourself. You're not a 9. And especially as a divorced woman with 2 children. Okay? So your child's father is what you could score, land, marry. And who filed for divorce in your marriage?
I did.
Why?
He was verbally abusive.
So, and what did you do? And you were just quiet? You didn't respond?
Yes.
Was there any police reports filed?
I'm sorry.
Did it ever get physical?
Once.
All right. I'm going to go down that path. How long were you guys married?
8 years.
All right. So, in general, ma'am, women across the board can expect to get what the man that a woman chose to reproduce with tends to be the upper limit of what she can get with men. It tends to be. So I'm not saying it's 100%, but even at that, ma'am, you're still looking for somebody who's earning on the level you're earning, and you're not looking for an average guy making $41,000 a year. Right? Or wrong? Nope.
Not 41,000.
Thank you. So basically, so when why I get so granular is these ladies come through the door virtue signaling, talking about I just want a man who's a good man, who's this and that, when it really does come down to the money. Gentlemen, your godfather is right again. Do not let them virtue signal and gaslight you, because it does come. She thinks she's a 9. She thinks she deserves a man on her level, earning what she's earning. Cool. Can't change that. But ma'am, that ain't, if you don't have that approaching you in your life for serious relationship and consideration for marriage, that should tell you something. Do you have men?
That's the thing. I do.
For marriage?
It's just that.
For marriage? I don't mean that.
I've been proposed to a couple of times in the past since my divorce.
Okay, and these guys were earning, and these guys did what for a living?
Well, the last guy, he was a physician. The other guy was an accountant.
He was a mechanic?
Accountant.
So you've had an accountant and a physician propose to you.
Right.
How long did you date the physician?
Like less than a year. It was 11 months.
And how long did you date the accountant?
Maybe about 2 years.
And why didn't you marry either one of those men?
The accountant was cheating. And physician, I just really felt like we didn't mash well together.
Okay. So, ma'am, you've had one husband with 2 children, right?
Right.
Okay. You've had an accountant and a physician. Why do you think this video game gives you unlimited lives?
I don't feel like it does. I just want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions.
Well, ma'am, okay, ma'am, but ma'am, do you make room for the possibility? I mean, come on, ma'am. You said you're 9 at 35. I mean, I see that's the problem. I hear so many women acting like y'all are such a prize, and I don't want to make the wrong decision and this and that. Okay, well, then grow old by yourself.
No, I don't.
And that's what a lot of things is, ma'am. If I'm just going on what you said. If you've had an accountant you spent 2 years with and he was cheating, I'll just take that. A physician you spent 11 months with and you didn't mesh, ma'am. Women and men in the chat room are asking, what the hell is this lady looking for? And it's perfection, because truthfully, I get it. When you overvalue yourself, anybody, you tend to hold out for what you think you're worth. But I'm sorry, ain't nobody that perfect. and I'm just accepting everything you said, that all this stuff happened. Do you think that there's a point in time in your life where men will actually start just not paying you serious attention?
Yeah, I believe that.
What age?
I
What age?
feel
What
like
age? At what age?
maybe by 40.
No, it's about you're at the age now because when men want children, you're beyond child. You're at geriatric pregnancy. See, that number right, that realization right there should make you lower your number. Should make you lower your number because men who are seeking, the kind of men who are earning on your level, they tend to want families. They also don't tend to want to be stepfathers. So if you legitimately had two men interested in marrying you after your husband and you turn both of those down, well, ma'am, maybe you need to
Well,
look at.
again, the one of them after the engagement, we found
After the engagement, did what?
both of them.
Man, what? Okay, you're breaking out after the engagement. What?
We found out he was cheating, so it wasn't like I just turned both of them down. I couldn't accept someone
Okay,
cheating.
you found out he was cheating after you ended after you turned him down.
No, before I turned him down. So I agreed, and then I found out he was cheating during the engagement.
How'd you find that out? How'd you find that out?
Well, she contacted me.
Hmm. And what did he say?
Well, she basically told me
No,
that
what did he
was,
say? What did he say?
um, he admitted it. He was honest. He was
Hmm.
forthcoming.
He was cheating while you guys were in a committed one-on-one relationship.
But we were engaged at the time.
Okay, so you've been engaged.
Yes,
Okay, did the physician propose to you?
he did.
So when I say engagement, I mean a man bought a ring of significant heritage, dropped to one
Yes,
knee in public, and proposed to you. So you've had two men
yes,
propose to you,
yes, I have.
and you
The physician
you accepted
kept bringing up
Hold on,
being
hold on, hold on, hold on. You accepted the accountant, right?
right.
And did you accept the physician?
I did not.
Okay, you did not. Well, ma'am, I'm going to ask the same question I ask all the time. Have you ever sat down and had counseling or therapy?
I have.
Okay. How long ago was that?
When I was getting like years ago when I was getting married, we
Okay.
had like marriage
Well,
counseling.
I always recommend, well, we attract what we are, ma'am. And I'm just, like I say, accepting your story as it goes along. There are all kind of holes and inconsistencies, but it really doesn't matter at this point. Even as a woman who's 35, divorced with two kids, if you keep attracting men who are unsuitable or whatever, the only common denominator is us in all of our relationships. And you don't, and I understand people before the folks start coming from me. Remember, she's already said an average man ain't good enough for her.
I never said that. You
Ma'am,
said
an
that.
average earning man ain't good enough for you. Don't play with me. An average earning man ain't good enough for you. Don't play with me.
So why do you feel that I said that?
Because I said a man making $41,000, you'd accept him. Nah, not a man making 40. That's an average man. Don't play with me. Reality is a bitch, boy. Tell you. Unfortunately, for all the ladies who were like, she seems nice, such and so forth, you have to be a bad person. But ladies, your value drops. Your value drops. You can't keep demanding everything. You're going to have to accept some stuff if you want a person. He was cheating. All right. What about the physician? Was something wrong with him too? Okay. Everybody there's something wrong with. And remember, she started out saying that I don't want no high value man. I just want a good guy who's this and that. All right. I'm going to go back to what the women who were matchmakers said. Why they quit. They quit being matchmakers because women don't want good men. They want this list of things. And the things that they want, they don't even bring to the table. Just not realistic. And I'm sorry that some of you ladies don't like the way it gets put, but that's just the reality.
I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning.
Elevation Nation Conversations. God, Body, Sean.